Alright, I'm just gonna straight up say that, like, I'm literally just right after recording the Hazel video. I'm gonna be releasing this a little after, or like a day after my usual recording or uploading time, but this Hazel time was short, so I think I have enough time to record this one. And considering it's Justice, I had time. I'm very curious to where this one will go, because the last one I felt was too short for Justice. It could just be me being biased, but I felt like it was a little too short. I remember the first day being, oh, that one was that one was good. Second one was short, but it was still good. This third one, I'm gonna be very curious. Anyway, let's jump into Justice. Even though it's just a trip to a hobby shop, you find yourself unusually nervous for your upcoming date with Justice. So nervous, in fact, that you end up taking much longer than usual to get ready. As you are comparing two seemingly identical red button downs, you hear a knock at your door. Yo, you ready yet, Chief? Yeah. Not wanting to keep Justice any longer, you throw on one of your shirts and head out to meet their demon. Alright, let's go. Lead the way then, my dude. Keys in hand, you and Justice skip downstairs and load up into the car. The engine rumbles to life, and soon you are on the road to the hobby shop. It isn't a terribly long trip, but nevertheless Justice is quick to fill the air with a light conversation. I gotta say, I'm eager to get a feel for the infamous Taker's old stomping grounds. When was the last time you visited the hobby shop? Actually, that's a good question. I used to go to this place all the time, but I stopped going. Was it because of your little vacation in hell? The sorts of things you see down there? Well, they do have a tendency to change a person. No, it wasn't that. Honestly, I stopped going to the hobby shop long before I met all of you. Oh? What happened to make you quit? It's, we're here. As if to save you from answering any uncomfortable questions, the hobby shop edges into view. Nestled in between a pair of old brick buildings, you feel a familiar nostalgic tug at the side of the dilapidated shop. You pull into one of many parking spots lined up out front. The sign out from front's lettering over the window reads, Vergilmere Hobby Shop. Ready? Yeah, but before Justice can finish her sentence, you hop out of the car and stride up to the front door. The demon lets out an exasperated sigh before following you inside. Your arrival is heralded by the chime of a bell, and a familiar voice greets you as you are plunged into the shop's uniquely stale musk. Dear me, is that really you, my boy? Oh, hey Gramps. Yeah, it's me. Why, I never thought I'd see you walk through those doors again. And yet, here you are. Yeah, here I am. Oh, I've missed you, son. It's funny you showed up, though. Why is that? Just the other day, someone was asking about you. Asking about me? It was a lady. A couple of ladies, actually. At this, the man smirks and wiggles his eyebrows. You pretend not to notice. He saw the picture of you, and I keep up here and wanted to know more about it. Proudly, the old man pats the wall behind him. It's labeled Wall of Fame, and below there are several pictures with tiny homemade plaques under each. Amid the images, you spy your own photo, a little larger than the rest, near the dead center. Oh. Surprised you kept that. But of course I did. It's my pride and joy. Gramps. So you take his grandfather, huh? Oh, now who's this? A friend of yours, my boy? Not quite. Our relationship is... Hey, Give me a second. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna look that up. Burgeoning. Beginning to grow or increase rapidly. Flourishing. Oh, okay. Wow, that's... Well, I mean, yeah, I guess that's appropriate coming from Justice. I mean, we are more than a bit beyond friendship, I'd say. Justice lowers her glasses and winks at you over the jet black lenses. Wouldn't you agree, Chief? The forwardness of Justice's statement catches you off guard. Before you can find your bearings and reply, you hear a thunder of triumphant laughter come from the old man behind the counter. Now that's a fine young lady, I'll tell you what. You're damn right it is. In the midst of his joy, Gramps claps you on the back in such surprising force that you nearly knocked off your feet. She's confident, earnest, and gorgeous to boot. I agree with that. I just realized the Azazel story did not have a picture for it, did it? Huh. Alright. You best treat her well, son. Yes. I plan to. Good. That's what I like to hear. Boy, it's gotta be pretty convenient having a family member work for a hobby shop. About that. Sadly, I'm not actually his grandfather. No, I might as well be, given how much time he used to spend here. But he calls you Gramps. Everyone calls me Gramps around here. Anyway, what brings you guys here today? Don't tell me. Are you getting back into painting? As a matter of fact, you bet he is. Well, that's great to hear. Let me guess. I have you to thank for this new development, don't I, miss? Nah, I just gave him a little nudge. The rest was all him. Well, I must say, that warms my heart to hear. Now, what can I help you find today? I imagine since it's been so long, your paints have gone bad, haven't they? Right? Now that is a pickle. A full restock of paints will cost you a pretty penny. I was afraid of that. In any case, is the wall still there? The wall? That it is. I presume you know the way. How could I forget? I must admit it's nice to see that this place hasn't changed much. Gramps grins and you nod before walking away, just as quickly trails behind you. Nestled between the board games and the trading cards is a section dedicated to models and paintings. Rows upon rows of boxes or boxed sets lays before you. A veritable cornucopia of tabletop figurines. And in the midst of it all lies the wall. Jesus. Okay, that is a really nice drawing though. The wall, a literal monolith, towers above you like the technicolor wave. To call it a rainbow would be an insult to not only its significance, but also to the sheer number of pigments it contains. For all, you find yourself awestruck, and perhaps a little overwhelmed by the sight. Even Justice, who has stepped forward to inspect the wall with her fingertips, is utterly stricken by its size. Holy cow! What kind of... Oh, excuse me. I had a slight burp there, hang on. That was like a meaty burp, jeez. What kind of obelisk is this, Taker? I didn't know you humans could even see this many colors. I'm almost certain that we can't. And yet, there's so many of them. Every pigment known to humankind. And some known only to shrimp. Oh, ultraviolet, okay, I got it. I don't even know where to begin. It's so overwhelming. Oh there, big guy. Don't zone on me just yet. So many colors. Stay with me now. Let's think about this, yeah? Remember when we were talking about all of this the other day? Yeah? You went through the different paints with me then. And you mentioned a few of the staples that are used most often, right? Right. What were those? Shades, metallics, and base coats? Alright, good. Let's go from there then, shall we? Okay, yeah. You turn to scan the wall for the requisited paints and find that your eyes are quickly drawn to the base coats first. Here we go, base coats. You step forward and begin to load up your hands with numerous tiny bottles. Okay, metallics next. Yeah, here's some. You grab some more paints, filling your arms. In your haste, some of them escape your grasp and clatter to the floor. Just as quick to pick them up and settle them next to you with her arms open. Here, just hand them to me. I'll hang on to them for you. Thanks. As you pluck paints off the wall, you pass them over to Justice, who begins to ferry them over to the counter for you. Before long, you have a nice little pile of paint bottles ready for purchase. Alright, that was the last of the shades, right? Yep. What's next? Well, now I need to think about what colors I'm going to use for the main body of my figures. That's easy. What's your favorite color? Red. But I think I want to try something different. That's also my favorite color. Ah, I see. Well, I could tell you my favorite color. You have a favorite color? Of course I do. I wasn't always blind, remember? Right. So what's your favorite color then? Yellow. It reminds me of the flower fields from when I was a little demon. I wasn't exactly supposed to visit them, but I always didn't exactly listen. There are flower fields in hell. Just one. And it's more of a meadow, really. Some mortals believe it's only filled with asphalt. Asphalt. What? My mind completely blanked there, jeez. Asphodels. The hell is that? Oh well. But that isn't true at all. In reality, it's filled with all sorts of flowers, in rows and bunches of every colors you can imagine, stretching from one horizon to the next. I spent a lot of time in that place. Sure, it was no paradise, but when you're a kid in hell, it might as well be, you know? Anyway, I like the sunflower the most, and though it's been 1,000 years or so, I can still picture their bright yellow colors. Petals. I see. Yellow it is then. You turn your attention back to the wall and begin to seek out the yellows. Justice, meanwhile, squeezes your arm affectionately before heading off to drop the last of the paints off onto the counter. Is that the last of it? Though you're on the other side of the shop, thanks to the emptiness between you and the counter, you are privy to the conversation between Justice and Gramps. Not quite, but almost. I see. Good. The old man nods in your direction. It's nice to see him again. Has it been that long? A number of years, at least. What happened, if you don't mind me asking? I'm afraid that's not entirely my story to tell. It's his. I take it he hasn't told you much? No, he hasn't. Give him time. If he hasn't told you yet, I'm sure he will someday. I can see that he trusts you a great deal already. And for good reason, it seems. What about that picture you have of him up there? Can you tell me what that's for? Ah, now that is a fun story. A bit of a long story, mind you. But from the looks of our friend over there, I'm sure you've got some time to kill. I'm guessing you're right about that. Now, where to begin? First things first, it's important to know that this is my shop. I've owned and run it since I was about his age. My own dad passed it down to me when I got old enough, and it's been in my name ever since. There's not a lot of money in running a hobby shop, of course, but that's also not why I do it. Even so, I run into some financial trouble a few years back. It was looking like I'd have to close up shop for good before long. What happened? That young man is what happened. When he caught wind of what was going on, he jumped in to help right away. He railed up all the other regulars in the shop, a bunch of figurine painters like himself, and convinced them to set up their workstations here in the shop. And he printed off a bunch of flyers saying that people could come in and have their painting commissions done on the spot. And that all the money would go to helping the shop stay open so that these wonderful artists would have an easy way to get the supplies that they needed. How many people showed up? Welcome, miss. I lost count. All I know is that in a couple of weeks I had enough money to pay off the shop's debts and then some. It was remarkable. All those kind people work so hard to keep me afloat, and I don't know if I'll ever repay them. But none of them worked quite so hard as that young man right there. He may not be the best artist out there, but by a long shot, but he was right there with the rest of them painting his art out. Even after everyone else went home, he stayed behind fulfilling commissions after commission. Most folks came by just because they liked his determination. In any case, that's why his picture's up there on my wall. Him and all the others who saved my father's shop. My only regret is that the most I can offer them is a meager discount on painting supplies. It isn't much, but I hope it's enough. Wow. I had no idea. I'm not surprised. That boy's not one to brag, really. He's got a mind to accomplish, and when he sets out to accomplish, and that's that. Once he has a goal, he'll go to hell and back to make it happen. Don't I know it? Well, thanks for telling me all of this, Gramps. I should probably go check on him, though. Make sure he hasn't gotten too fixated by the wall. It'll get you. A moment later, you feel Justice at your side again. She loops her arm around yours and brush her fingertips against your skin. How's it going over there, Chief? I think I'm ready. Alright then, shall we? Yeah, let's go. With Justice leaning affectionately against you, you make your way out to the counter. However, just before you arrive there, something catches your eye and you drag the procession to a grinding halt. Whoa, what's with the sudden brakes? You don't reply right away, instead finding yourself so stunned into silence that you cannot muster the words. On the shelf before you sits an enormous set of figures of all kinds. It's so elaborate that it would take you weeks just to put it together. Twice that to paint it all. Without tearing your eyes from the box, you reach into your pocket and withdraw all the cash that you brought along with you. What is it, Taker? You do a little mental math in your head and to see if the set fits into your budget. Too expensive. Your shoulders sag at the realization. You feel just a step in front of you to lift the set off the shelf. Oh, this thing is a beast. You sure we can't afford it? I'm afraid not. Rats. Even if you put back some of the paints? You look down at the yellow pigments in your hands. Sure, you could put some of them back and it would give you just enough to be able to buy the set. Then you wouldn't be able to fully paint a set of Sunflower Nights for Justice. Since thanks to her that you're even here at all, you can't help but feel you owe her at least that much. So you decide to hang on to the paints instead. No, I'd rather hang on to the paints. I got plenty at home to paint anyway. Maybe we can get it some other time. Justice nods and heaves the box back onto the shelf. Without further ado, you approach the counter and prepare to pay. As Gramps is ringing you up your things, you catch sight of the picture on the wall and are reminded of what the old man said earlier. Hey Gramps, I was wondering if you could tell me a bit more about those people who came in and asked about my picture. Well, sure, I suppose. What would you like to know? What did they ask about? Nothing out of the ordinary, just your name and about your time here. Could you tell me anything specific about their question? Afraid not. My mind doesn't work quite like it used to. Can you at least give me an idea of what they looked like? Now that I can do. They were really distinct if I recall. But all of them, that is. All but one of them, that is. How many were there? 3. One real tall lady dressed like one of them punk rockers. You know, stud braces, leather jacket, the works. It looked like a back alley watch dealer. And the third was unremarkable and yet oddly familiar. Now it sounds crazy, but you remind me of both the young lady who bags my groceries and the person who works at the bowling alley down near my house. I see. Well, thanks, Gramps. It was good to see you again. You too, son. I hope you'll come back soon. Don't worry, I will. With a smile, you wave farewell and leave the shop. Outside, Justice stops you by the car. What was that about, Taker? I'm not sure, but there's something going on around here. I felt like I was being followed for some time now. What Gramps said just now confirms it. I'll fill you in on the way home. Justice nods and hops into the passenger seat. With one last lingering look at the door to the hobby shop, you too get into the car and fire up the engine. As you pull away to head home, you can't shake the feeling that someone somewhere is watching you. Oh, you're blue balling me, aren't you? I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just like, well, it kind of left me satisfied, but at the same time, it lingered a little bit at the end there. I felt like it lent on a little too long. Just a small critique. Other than that, I liked it though. Then again, I'm not the best judge for these types of stories. I either like them or I don't. But anyway, I'm going to end it off here. All my social media is down in the description below if you want to check me out there. Maybe leave a like, help out the channel, and then subscribe too if you like my content. I'll try to be doing visual novels more often when I can. But with that, I'm going to end the video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day. Also, justice is the best. You will never change my mind about that.